Well,
unfortunately, a real one.
Unfortunately, the 49ers did lose to the Philadelphia Eagles, so we all got at least one side of that bracket incorrect. So we're all going to be paying our dues.
Yeah.
Everybody, bottoms up.
L'chaim, everyone.
Get it together, Nolan.
Oh, you all suck.
No, the Niners suck.
Movalio, baby. Crushing it.
I'm pretty sure I beat you, Jalen.
Did you? Because I crushed and threw. Proper technique.
Go back to the...
Can I get a replay? Where's my challenge flag? There
anyway,
you go, bitch.
We got a lot to talk about today in the NFL and in the NBA. Come on, dog. But let's get to the intro music. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm your co-host, Kyrie McKee, and with me, as always, are my longtime friends and co-hosts, Nolan Chang, Jalen Shirai, and Jalen Holson. Say what's up to the pod, please.
This is Jalen Shirai.
Damn, one shotgun, you're in the bag already?
Monday, everybody.
No.
Mm-hmm.
We just got I didn't even realize I did turn my mic back on. But anyway, we're right back here in the studio for Athletes Anonymous. We're going to be talking about some of the stuff that's going on in the NFL landscape as well as the NBA. But we're going to start off with the NFL because I know there's a particular guy that Jalen probably will want to talk about. Specifically, he did just announce his retirement.
Sure did.
So, Jay, what are you naming him? Because a lot of people name him their GOAT. I'm going to throw this over to you. He did retire. I'm not going to say the name because you already know who I'm talking about.
Right. Yeah. We know it's Tom Brady, the guy that likes to suck the souls of children to keep his youth. I mean, what? Anyways.
Wow. I'm glad you said the souls.
Listen.
Wow.
We just started counting.
It's not my fault. He's got a video of him like mouth kissing his son.
Oh,
on the
right.
internet. I'm
We're
sorry.
not-
That's a thing. Sorry. Anyway, he's the GOAT. I mean, he's going to be the GOAT for a while until Patrick catches up to him a little bit. Really, I think the GOAT conversation, when all is said and done, is really going to be how many rings does Patrick end up with? Because no one's touching 7. I'm sorry. Even as good as Patrick is, there's a lot of outside factors that contributed to those 7 rings, right? It goes from like management to coaching staff, like consistency, like all those kinds of things. He was, for the most part, relatively unscathed, like injury wise. Like that is a big contributor as well. Obviously, being on the field is your best availability. That's how we got conned into Matt Castle, by the way. So yeah, again, I think it's not really a question of should he be considered the GOAT, because he is. He is the GOAT right now, again, until young boy Mahomes decides to hang it up and we kind of look back, and then we can have those kind of Kobe versus MJ conversations, because really that's what's going to end up being. It's going to be one of those, like, is it Kobe or is it MJ? Is it, you can throw LeBron in there, but whatever, kinds of deals. But because Patrick will have all the stats. He's literally, because of how well he's done in his first 5 years, he's going to catch every passing stat that Brady ever had. He's going to catch every regular season touchdown stat that Brady ever had, because they added this extra game in the season. And for most of Brady's career, he only had 16 games versus 17. So really, it's just going to come down to championships, and whether it's 2, whether it's 5, whether it's just 1, like that's really going to be where people are just going to be like, well, Brady's the GOAT because he's got more, trophies and all that other stuff. But like, when you really look at like how the game was played, Brady had a lot of help and he did a lot of checkdowns, versus Mahomes is making. It's kind of one of those, like, what did you prefer as a quarterback situations that we're going to get into, I think, when it's all said and done. But right now, it's unequivocal. Like, Tom Brady, you're the GOAT. Should have retired last year. Maybe you'd have kept your family. But, yeah, that's about it. Yeah.
Wow.
It's
I gotta
funny
dig him
because-
one more time, man.
I know
Come
we're
on.
going back to that again. I was like, really, it would have been the
Nope.
perfect. It would have been the perfect storybook ending for him to just have gone out on a championship. Like,
Yeah, like why
take
did
the
you have to come
championship.
back?
Yeah, I know it made no sense. Anyway, I want to swing it over to you guys because I know that we have a couple of other guys who did retire today. AJ Green announced his retirement, 7-time Pro Bowler,
Wow,
12 years in the
really?
league. I know, kind of crazy. But
That's
he's
crazy.
retiring from the Arizona Cardinals. And we also had J.J. Watt from the same team retiring. So I'm going to throw it over to you first, Nolan, because no, I mean, not specifically because of these players, but just because we do have a team in the Arizona Cardinals who are now, I mean, they were considered championship contenders going into the year. Now they're all in flummox because of the Kyler Murray deal. And then now with J.J. Watt retiring, A.J. Green retiring, two more weapons that are, no longer at their disposal. So I'm just kind of curious.
The
do you
coach
think
banished himself to Thailand because he I mean, what is going on in Arizona right now?
Bro, I don't even know. They're just running out of things to do in Arizona, I guess. But anyway, throwing it over to you. Do you think that this is kind of their time to hit the reset on everything, and possibly do you think that they're going to trade Kyler Murray? Because there's a lot of rumors out there that they may end up trying to send him somewhere.
I mean, if they are going to do a hard reset, I would assume that Kyler Murray would be the first piece shipped off because he is still young. He's still, I mean, relatively healthy. Obviously, there were some,
Health
I think, a
concerns
good
this year,
handful of weeks this season that he wasn't playing. But yeah, if you are going to do a hard reset, you don't want to handcuff a young player who is a talent of some sort, with his name known to a lot, to a team that is going to go through maybe I don't know how long a reset really takes in the NFL. Like NBA, you can kind of get an idea. For NFL, it is more of a straight line. This is the many games you have this season. Let's see what you can do. Either you're going to be a crap for like a decade, or you're going to at least make some moves to do something. So if they are going to reset,
I'll just put it this way: it's a 52-man roster. There are a lot of pieces that need to be replaced and or changed out. So
Well, they're a younger franchise too, so it's kind of hard to say it's a reset when they've never really been, aside from like the Kurt Warner era. That's
that
really when they were.
era.
You know what I mean? It was like 2 years, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
So we'll see, but I think if they are going to reset, moving Kyler Murray is probably a great idea. You still have DeAndre Hopkins, who you can move as well, who is still a phenomenal talent. Obviously, I had him on my fantasy team, and he showed up when I needed him. So I think we're going to get into it with the NBA as well. But, if you're going to reset. There's no half-assing it, because you can't hope that, keeping one or two big-name star players who are phenomenal pieces is going to help kind of secure something in a short amount of time. And if the Cardinals don't see their current multi-year plan,
sorry, Jared's just changing the camera.
I'll let him handle
where
it.
did the penis cam come from?
To my laptop now.
There we go. Yeah,
Just move over here for a little bit, guys.
I like it. There
I'm
we go.
Jared. I can afford the two different pieces. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I think it's going to be up to.
That was so random.
I know. I was like, what?
I don't know why it did it. Like I was
just
moving
gets
my
one, like-
mic. No, I was moving my mic, and then all of a sudden, like
It shows him
just
with no
went,
pants on.
It went this way, and I was like,
He's like,
whoa.
That's my OnlyFans
Like-
camera.
Turn this up a little bit.
There we go.
But yeah, bottom line, either reset or don't. There's no in between. You can't afford, especially if you're going to be paying some big name players, you can't afford to just waste away on the sidelines. So we'll see what they do, but especially if they are losing, was it AJ Green and you said JJ Watt?
JJ Watt, yeah.
They have to do some big internal soul searching right now in this offseason, because it's going to be. It has to be that yes or no. It's black and white. There's no gray for this. Either you're going to reset or you're going to try to ride with what you have now and then build around it. I don't know what cap space they have available to them, but it's going to be.
They'll have a lot if they start trading away some of them dudes.
I mean,
a lot of big
if
contracts
they
on that
decide
team,
not to
for
reset,
sure.
though, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I got you.
So we'll kind of see where that goes.
I'm going to throw it over to you, Jared, because somebody from Hawaii, you've we've ridden through the era of many Pro Bowl games in Hawaii. So now they've got this new thing. They tried it out this year, the Pro Bowl games, because of all the things that kind of happened for the last few years, where the games kind of just were pretty bad, and guys weren't really trying, and trying to avoid injuries. So it's understandable. But this year they tried to do something different. They had dodgeball. They had a flag football game at the end of all of it. They had all of these little like throwing target games that they tried to do, and they're trying to bring the crowd in that way for the Pro Bowl game. So I'm just kind of curious, do you think this is kind of like a viable thing for the NFL to keep doing in replacement of the traditional Pro Bowl game, or would you like to see them go back to a traditional Pro Bowl, NFC versus AFC type of deal?
I'd say that's a little hard. If you're going back to the original Pro Bowl, everybody loved it because of all the festivities, all the events that you actually got to do. You got to watch the practices, and in Hawaii, that's all it was, right? You want to go check out the practices.
That's all we had.
Want to go to the game. Yeah, literally all we had. So, like, I mean, I get it. Like, I loved it because they had all those things and it was available to everybody to go to. But I do agree that it was just a one side. Like, if you're on defense, it was like watching the first 3 quarters of an all-star game. Like, open lane, you're going to get a dunk. I mean, you were literally throwing for stats. Defense was just whatever. If they had an opportunity to pick it, they did. If not, they weren't chasing anybody down. They weren't trying to get sacks. They were trying to rush the quarterback. So, I mean, I get why they got away from the actual game. And like you said, with injuries and the way that things always happen and how much more severe, like, concussions and things are, I feel like they wanted to go away from that. I only got to catch like part of the flag football part, and it was kind of like the ending. But I love how they use Peyton and Eli. I do love how they did that. He's the brothers.
Love that.
And just you build the camaraderie. And the two of them, they hate losing to each other, and they're gonna talk it up. And and at the very end, I don't know if you guys got to watch it, but literally like, he can't do that. That's
yeah.
But he was coming in high. He's like, okay, good job. He's like, but
you never lose being a competitor.
Exactly. And
I love those two. Man.
I think. Yeah, no, so like I said, those two perfect people to do it every year, I think, to go against each other. They're analysts, they're the way they view the game, the way they played the game, like they just bring so much to the sport. And I did like the flag football aspect of it. Nobody gets hurt. You kind of get to see more of an offensive kind of thing. The defense gets their opportunity to shine, like the Diggs brothers, they got to go one-on-one and then ends up throwing a pick, right to his brother. I thought that was hilarious when I saw the highlight on that. But as far as an all-star game or like a Pro Bowl goes, I think they're kind of heading in the right direction. This is, I think, what more people will like to see. And according to the ESPN articles, they were saying like the fans kind of really bought into like the especially the flag football part of it. Like everybody kind of bought into that. So I think going forward, it's a very viable source for them. And I mean, it'd be nice to bring it back to Hawaii. I mean, if you're gonna do stuff like this, I mean, you might as well bring it back to Hawaii.
Maybe when a
big
stadium gets rebuilt and they kind of redo that thing into a dome.
Because can you imagine too, like the field at UH? I mean, that's a great practice spot where they're playing their games now. Yeah. And there's a lot of facility there for them to be able to use for the
even
players,
not to make this about schools or anything, but Kamehameha has a pretty nice
I was just saying, I knew when you said that. I was like,
I'm just saying. We got.
I mean, Iolani's right there too.
We get it. Okay, we get it.
Well, what about that field stadium at Hope International?
But don't go to Pudaho.
Yeah. The one that doesn't exist. It's fine.
Yeah, I was like, anyway, I'm gonna throw it back over to you, Jay, because after the Pro Bowl had concluded, we had guys like Josh Jacobs really wasn't feeling the whole change in the Pro Bowl system. So I'm just kind of curious as a longtime football fan, and obviously as somebody who did get to see a little bit of the newer Pro Bowl games. What did you think? Are you on board? Not on board? Where you at with it?
I'm fucking like 5,000% 10 on board, man. I think it was. I had a great time. They had Pat McAfee do a bunch of the calls. Like they brought in some great celebrities. Like, I mean, it was it felt like a great all-star event for the NFL, and that's what I wanted to feel when I watched the old Pro Bowl stuff, the way they formatted it, where it was just like the game. It's just like a regular football game. Like we see this all the time. Like it's stuff that we didn't get to see. We got to see more personalities of players that we really don't get to see a lot of all the time, like Stephon Diggs and Kirk Cousins and David Carr. like all that stuff. So like I think it was way, way, way more fun for me to watch over the last couple days, especially the flag football game. I love the dodgeball game. I thought that was really fun.
Yep.
The one where they were pulling the yardsticks and stuff. That was so fun. Yeah. So I think it was all great, and I think to do it in Vegas the first year was awesome. I'm not sure how long they're locked into that, but I do think that the NFL does need to kind of branch its way out to Hawaii, maybe even give them a franchise at some point. I don't understand how they haven't had that go down, because football is so big in Hawaii from what I understand.
It's so funny because they're
talking about London and Germany, but we can't
I'm like, how
right here, bro. It's an 8-hour flight. Like, what are we doing? Like,
thank you, Jay.
You know what I mean?
Understand. Why are we talking about expanding to London, but we don't have a damn Hawaii team? Wow, man.
Like, it's crazy to me, especially because, UH is so big over there. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
that's all we have. That's
it. Right. Like,
ride hard for UH because that's
it's not like football doesn't exist in Hawaii. Like, that's what I just don't understand. You know what I mean? Like, it's a huge marketable sport. It's a great location. You're telling me teams are going to be like
volleyball.
Right. Like, you're telling me that NFL teams are going to be just opposed to being like, oh yeah, we got to go to Hawaii. What a drag for an away game.
Even worse,
you know, like, what the fuck? You know what I mean?
Hawaii team, like, oh no, I have to live in Hawaii for the rest of my contract.
No, it's just, oh god,
just signed a
Hawaii.
6-year in Hawaii.
God, man.
Infinite sand training.
I'm requesting a trade.
No.
Right.
For real.
I'm requesting a trade. Jesus Christ. But yeah, I do hope it does make its way back out there. But yeah, that's the stuff that I liked about like the early 2000 Pro Bowls was like the skills challenges and all that stuff. Like that was awesome to watch. Like it brought me right back to that, a little bit of nostalgia love right there, right, with the quarterbacks and all that stuff. So yeah, I hope it makes its way back to Hawaii where it should be. And I hope the format stays, because I had a great time watching the Pro Bowl this year. It was awesome.
Yeah. I 100% agree. Honestly, I think it saves the injury thing, which is
that too. It's
you
great.
take a look at the NBA
That's
All-Star
the biggest
game.
thing.
There's a reason why there's never that many free throws being shot. There's a reason why the score is so high. It's because these players know, while they're doing it for themselves as all-stars and getting that kind of accolade under their belt, they're doing it for the fans, and their fans came to see basketball being played, not necessarily crazy hardcore finals basketball, but you want the players to feel safe. You want the players to have fun, compete in some sort of fashion, especially when they have the skills challenge for the skilled positions. It's going to be, I think there's going to be the hardcore old school football fans who hate it, but I would rather look at it as you celebrate these players and considering the percentage-wise of how many games they play and how many times people get injured, one actual game of football in the Pro Bowl, I guarantee you, is going to leave some guys limping away for some reason.
I think that's the biggest thing, is such a big difference between this sport and like the NBA, because there is such a higher risk of injury. It's one of those things where it's like, can you really afford to let these guys play out a game against the top players nonetheless, where everybody can tackle and everybody can hit real hard? Like, are we really expecting them to go all out and then get injured and then you lose your star player? And right now, I mean, most defenses have like one, maybe two guys that are on the team that are like the guy. So like, you lose that guy. I mean, for us specifically, we lose TJ Watt. I mean, look what we did without him and look what we did with him. Like, it's night and day. So I agree with that point.
Well, that too, and like, not that I haven't heard anything, but like there are no injuries with this Pro Bowl weekend versus the other format, guaranteed at least one
no
or two
injuries
people
that
got
they're
hurt.
disclosing.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like it is what it is. Like, this is a violent game.
Maybe a lot of broken ankles and a lot of broken hearts. So
right, a lot of people got sauced on. Somebody's pride might be hurt. That's a different story. But like it's to the point of like, it's about player safety. They extended the regular season to 17 games. This is a violent game. It is what it is. Like, you want to look at the Chiefs roster right now from going into the Super Bowl. We're down our top three wide receivers. We're down Juju Smith-Schuster. We're down Kadarius Toney, and we're probably going to be down Mecole Hardman again, because it's the nature of this is football. This is exactly how it goes. Jalen Hurts is playing through a shoulder injury right now. So it just is what it is. So if there's any format that I think we can kind of combine both worlds of having fun, getting to see the players that we like to see in a professional level, and also celebrating in a all-star like environment where we have all these fun things. And yeah, let's do it this way so people can get out like injury-free. We as the fans get a little bit of something, right, for the money that we pay to see these things, and we're good to go. But yeah, so perfect example is like this year, I don't think there's any major injuries, but literally I bet you can go track down every single year there was a Pro Bowl game. Somebody got hurt with something like knee, ankle, elbow, like anything, like guaranteed, because we're putting pads on and people are hitting. And also, no offense, but like some guys in the NFL don't work that way. There is no like off switch for some people in the NFL. Like, go look up some Brian Dawkins Pro Bowl tapes, bro. Like, dude was not about this whole like, oh, it's the Pro Bowl. Like, I'm gonna no, I'm going to murder you on site.
Like, do you think Lawrence Taylor took a day off?
No, like that's not how some of these guys work. You know what I mean? Unless you like make it an environment where it's like you just can't do these things. You idiot. Like, calm down. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Yeah, that's a fantastic point. I'm kind of curious now because I mean I don't know if it was I feel like it might still be going, but it's very like low key and it was a little bit of a short lived peak, I guess. But I don't know if you ever got a chance to see kind of like I think it was like the streaming league, something like that. I think it was Twitch. They did it on Twitch for a little bit. It was like a football league that was basically arena football, but they had all sorts of random things throughout the game where it could be like, oh, this next touchdown is worth double the points or something like that. Like, it was basically like, but it was all fan voted live on Twitch as the game was happening. And I was just curious because I know that they had mentioned that they were looking into this, changed version of the game. Obviously, it's arena football. It's a little bit less hardcore because they are kind of doing it like more indoors in like, temperature controlled areas. So I'm kind of curious, is that something that you think is viable, or would you like them to kind of stay to what they got now?
I don't like, I think I recall what you were talking about. I think that's fun for like a lower level of football, like arena football or like Canadian football, like that. That could be a great, you know what I'm saying? Like that's like great. We're talking about the National Football League, right? Where it's, you know what I mean? Like, it's just not.
It's like, that might be good for Canadian football, but
like we have issues right now about, we'll probably get to it, but like, we're like, there's issues about the NFL being rigged, right? And Arian Foster was off his medication and actually like made this contentious belief on Pat McAfee's show the other day. And I'm like, my guy, it's one of those things where it's like, are you going to buy into like this insanity, or are you just going to accept reality that like, hey, human beings have to ref the game, so they're going to make terrible calls? And that's where we're at. We're in a space right now where referees are at the highest level of criticism I think I've ever seen in the NFL. They made some terrible calls. They made some terrible no calls, et cetera, et cetera. But
not just the NFL, it's the NBA, all over the place, man.
And listen, I think there's some validity, right? Especially when Vegas gets involved and we talking about spreads and numbers, right? Like, I'm sure there's been plenty of it. NFL is almost 55 years old. Like, I'm sure at some point in time there was some corruption going on. I'm not going to say it's not impossible, but to the extent where we're like, well, yeah, practices, you just got a script, and then they just give all the stuff, and I'm like, get the fuck out of here. What are you doing? Go to the fucking psych ward. Go talk to somebody. Go get a therapist. Like, what the fuck? Like, that's not at all that. I'm sorry. I don't buy that. I don't buy that for a second. And if that's the case, and the NFL was rigged, as some people are alluding to with my Chiefs, please point to the call that won us the game, because I would like to have that discussion. If your answer is all of them,
circled back to the Chiefs.
I did.
I'm just saying,
really
Twitter
did.
is a beautiful place.
You didn't see it coming, but here it is.
Twitter is a beautiful place once that Arian Foster interview came out, because everyone was going random videos.
Like, come on.
Even RG3 came out like when he read the script for 2012.
Oh man, but yeah, it's just one of those things, and again, I would like to have that discussion.
Poor Arian Foster.
Because the extra third down that we got nothing. They in fact took away a touchdown because they called us for holding on an Isaiah Pacheco run. So there's that one. the pass interference or the holding call that we got to get us an extra extension.
He's going play by play on this one.
I really am. I'm sorry. I'm shutting it down right now.
He was
you
waiting
cannot grab someone around the helmet, pull them to the side, let them go, and then continue to hang on to their jersey. I hate to break it to you. That is holding in the NFL, and it's probably one of many that they decided to call. And, you know what I mean? And then finally, we're going to get to the personal foul. I don't give a fuck what you're doing. It is Patrick Mahomes. If it was Joe Burrow, I'm sure maybe we would have gotten the call. Maybe we wouldn't. But it's one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL. He is running to the sideline on one leg. You can clearly see he's running to the sideline. He's out of bounds, and you decide to shove him anyway at home. When the crowd goes crazy, you don't think they're going to throw a flag? Come on. So again, if you want to argue that's the one that was so extra that won us the game, whatever, Butker still probably would have made it from 60. You can go kick rocks. I'm sorry. It's just crazy to me that we have this discussion going on around the whole AFC Championship game. So again, if you have a different one, hit me up on Twitter at Jalen Holston, and we'll have a discussion. Because if your answer is all of them, just say it out loud, bro. You hate the Chiefs and you're salty. Just say it. It's okay. I'm okay with that response, but don't come out here and say, "Oh, it was the refs. It was rigged," because it wasn't. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'm gonna throw one last question for the NFL over to you, Jay. As a pseudo Chicago Bears fan,
yes,
they have the number one pick. Mm-hmm. They also have Justin Fields. Do you think that they should trade the number one pick or they should keep the number one pick?
That is the biggest debate in the land right now. I've heard some rumblings that they might trade Justin Fields and draft Bryce Young, which I think is absolutely psychotic. Mm-hmm. I've also heard that maybe they trade it for a big-time player to a lesser team, that kind of thing. Personally,
maybe Arizona.
For D-Hop, maybe? That'd be wild, right?
You heard it here first.
Number one, though. I was like, number one. That's a big pick right there.
I would rather the Chicago Bears in a perfect world, because I love Justin Fields. I really do. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to have a Jalen Hurts kind of career where he goes and gets some work done with his throwing mechanics. And I hope they fire the OC, though, because clearly he had one objective whenever he figured out how good he was as a runner instead of teaching him how to throw the ball. I would hope and pray that they can just go get him a number one overall receiver out of the draft. Mainly because I know it's a lot of pressure to put on a kid to draft him that high as far as a receiver goes, but giving him a weapon like that with some of the other pieces they already have, they have a possession receiver, they have a pretty good tight end, they got a great running back, fantastic running back in Montgomery, and Jalen Hurts is already, Justin Fields is already great at running the ball. There are a lot of J names going around.
Jalen Fields, no.
So I would prefer them to take the pick, get him a number one overall receiver in the draft, which means you get your pick of the litter from the pretty solid receiving class coming out this year. If they waited a couple more years, they could have got Jerry Rice's kid. You know what I mean? That'd have been big time. But
you're right.
What pick does Arizona have? Because could they pull for maybe Hollywood or Hopkins and then get the first round pick?
There's a rumor out there right now that they possibly could trade the number one overall pick to the Lions, who are definitely in need of a quarterback.
They are.
And in that pick, or in that trade scenario I did see, they would get basically a haul of picks, including the number 9 overall pick. Which, all things told, number 9, you could get yourself a pretty damn good receiver at that point, considering the needs of all the teams above them at that point. So
you can, I would go receiver, and then my alternate is bait it for a shit ton of picks. I mean, whoever you take, I want 5 minimum plus a bonus, so 6, because you can definitely get that with a number one draft pick spot. So. Not only this year and maybe next year, some conditional picks. I would definitely play that card as best you could. If you can't decide on a receiver, then trade it away. But other than that, I think that's really what Justin's missing right now in Chicago. His defense is still pretty solid. You could spend it on a defensive player to maybe bolster it a little bit more and then work in free agency so somebody's more established. But I don't think Justin Fields is the problem, and this notion that trading him is the logical choice to me is just psychotic. I don't understand where it came from. Yeah, like he is not the problem. Their offensive coordinator is the problem because they can't figure out schemes to get him open receivers, and his solution was to run him to death, which he's setting up to be the next RG3 already. And I think that's crazy. So yeah, I would definitely get him a good receiver out of that number 1 pick, and/or can't do it, trade. Then
that is a fantastic analysis that I agree with. But we are now going to shift it over to the NBA talks. I know everybody here has a little bit of something to say.
Let me get my small violin for this.
I'm gonna start. I'm actually going to start first with Jared. We're obviously, as the guy I think in all of the podcasts who has been calling for Luka to finally get some help.
Hey, I have 2.
No, shh.
Okay,
only Jared.
Only
Jared. But I think literally every single time we've asked you, like, who do you think needs a trade? You said Luka Doncic needs some help. So he finally gets some help in the form of Kyrie Irving. They obviously get Markieff Morris along with him. They trade away Dorian Finney-Smith, Spencer Dinwiddie, and a couple of picks. I'm just going to ask, I mean, is this the upgrade that you're looking for first and foremost? Obviously, as a Laker fan, I know this does sting a little bit, but I'm going to say, first of all, is this the help that you think Luka deserves? And on top of that, do you think that this also means that they will be making bigger moves on top of it?
Oh, that's tough. Okay.
I'm going to start first today.
I'm just going to start with the Kyrie Irving. Yeah, I'm just going to start with the Kyrie Irving thing. Everybody knows Kyrie off the court is a crazy motherfucker. Let's be real. His off-court antics is just like the one thing that kills everybody and makes him in my opinion, a very big liability for any team that he was going to go to. But
he's so loyal. Why wouldn't you want Kyrie? He stays for every place he goes for so long.
I will say, fact of the matter is, Kyrie Irving is still a baller.
Yep.
Like, he's probably one of the best finishers in the league still yet. He may not be the same guy, I would say, like how he was when he had LeBron or where he was out in Boston, like that kind of thing before he got a little more crazy. But he could play. The only thing that's going to bother me in this situation might be the same thing that happened when you were in Cleveland, is where Luka needs the ball in his hand. Like, Luka needs the ball in his hand. He's the playmaker. He's the definitive thing. But I will say it's nice to have a player that can take the scoring load off. Like, Luka doesn't need to have he doesn't need to score 40, 50, 60 points for them to actually win a game and have a triple-double. So he has Kyrie. He's like, okay, now for sure, if anything, his assists are going to bump up. He can take some little plays off where the ball doesn't technically have to run through them because he has an ISO player that literally nobody plays defense on that team. Come on, man.
None of them plays defense.
Nobody on that roster plays defense.
They traded away their defense.
Systematic defense.
I think literally the two guys that play defense, they just sent them that way.
Because I just seen that this report popped up on my feed. There's talks that the team is actually trying to make it a 3-team trade now. So they may be sending Spencer Dinwiddie over to the Raptors
to get Fred VanVleet.
That is...
hold on.
Wow.
This might be breaking, but ESPN just dropped maybe it's a spoof trailer or something, but like there might be a small 30 for 30 special on Kyrie's downfall in Brooklyn. It's like, I swear to God, I'm looking at it right now, and this is incredible.
Your phone is listening.
Yo.
Oh my God.
I hope this is just a spoof trailer and they're not actually making the 30 for 30 about the biggest downfall in NBA history. Dear God.
Oh my God.
Anyway, sorry.
This trade just happened today and they're already claiming this.
So what do you think? Do you think that Luka's finally getting the help that he needs? Obviously, you said the scoring load is taking off. Yeah.
I think so. I mean, look at where he's at right now. He's partially injured because of that incident he had in the last game where I think he left with a heel injury or a knee, like a contusion injury. So like the fact that, but I will say, like, Nolan brings up his fantasy team. If you're a fantasy owner, like, it sucks to be Luka Doncic. But at the same time, if you're looking at the Mavs going deeper into the playoffs and things like that, being able to take off the load, I think it helps them. We know Kyrie can score. Maybe playing into a system might be a little bit difficult for them because, Kyrie is Kyrie, and he is wherever his mental stability is at it on that day is where Kyrie's going to go and do his thing. But if you literally do it the same way they kind of ran it in Cleveland, where Luka runs the offense, and then you need a little bit of a downtime, I would say, you put the ball in Kyrie's hands and let Kyrie do Kyrie things, because even though he's a great scorer, he does pass the ball. He finds open. He draws so much attention. He'll find an open shooter. And I think that helps with the Christian Wood and everybody else who just kind of corner threes, because the two of them, one dribble drives, the other one can ISO and find an open player. And that's literally what it comes down to in Dallas. But defensively, yeah, there might be their biggest downfall now that they sent the other two away.
Yeah, I mean, there's talks right now that they are possibly moving Christian Wood as well. I know the Clippers are going hard in on him, possibly dangling Zubac and Norman Powell. Is it Norman Powell?
Norman Powell.
Yeah. So Norman Powell and Ivica Zubac for Christian Wood. So there are a lot of things.
We already have Powell in Dallas.
Yeah, Dwight Powell.
Yeah, they have a Dwight Powell, yeah. So Dwight Powell and Norman Powell.
No, Norman was in Portland before that?
Yes.
Yeah,
he was Raptors, then Portland, then Clippers. Yeah. Now they're talking about sending him over because apparently the Clippers are super high on getting Christian Wood over to them. So, yeah. Sorry, I don't know. That was just spitballing, because there's so many moves now that will possibly happen because of this move happening that I was kind of curious to hear your thoughts. But anyway, I'm going to swing it over to you, Nolan, now, because we're talking about the trade that never was. And now Kyrie is no longer on the table. And all your options are gone, and you guys will lose. No, I'm just joking. I'm just kidding. I was like, jokes on you. We're in the same spot. I think our records are basically the same, the Bulls and the Lakers. But I'm gonna just throw it over to you, because obviously Kyrie was a big loss. So from that perspective, I mean, how are you feeling? Do you think that the Lakers are still going to try to make moves to kind of upgrade, or do you think they may end up having to stand pat because of the Kyrie trade? Who's more depressed, you or LeBron?
Me?
Yeah.
Fuck you, LeBron. Tweeting out like a high schooler that just got his heart broken for the first time. Maybe it's me. No.
Hey. That's Jalen's topic. Stick to the Lakers.
My bad. You
Stick to the script. And you can't say that about LeBron, because isn't his wife his high school sweetheart, so he never got his heart broken? Just saying.
Look, man.
That's a good
just gonna
point.
throw that one out there.
That is a good point.
Look, man.
Just saying.
We didn't get Kyrie. And if it is true because Josiah decided that he was going to make it objectively very, very difficult for the Lakers to obtain Kyrie, you know what? Fair game. That's exactly what you are allowed to do as a owner or a GM.
Thank God somebody thought that. Good Lord. I'm tired of these stupid-ass LeBron team trades.
That is absolutely fair game. No. The way I see it, Lakers will make some sort of move, but in Laker fashion, it's going to be like, Lakers have just signed Michael Beasley to blah, 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 to come back out of retirement or some stupid crap, because the Lakers don't have...
Beasley retired?
No, he didn't retire, but I
was going to say, I was like, I didn't know he...
He said he was open to returning, and I was like,
gotcha.
This is going to be the one move the Lakers do in the...
I'm open to returning.
Jeremy Lin!
I was like, when you got nothing going on, of course you're open to returning.
But yeah, it is
Jeremy Lin.
Yeah, because I don't know. Let him do his thing over there.
Let's go.
Let him do his thing over there. But yeah, I'm not disappointed. I was like, we always get our hopes up every year when you hear rumors about your team looking at this player and talks to get this player.
These were pretty heavy, though. I mean,
it was. I mean, it's like I'm numb to it at this point, because we had the early season talks like Kyrie wants a trade, LeBron is open to Kyrie returning. Cool, if it happens,
Kevin Durant wants to trade.
Hey, Kevin Durant wants to trade. It is what it is. There's always going to be.
Nets interested in Russell Westbrook and 2 picks for Kevin Durant.
Jesus.
I'm just saying, man. But yeah, I think it is what it is. It's the business of the NBA. I agree that this is kind of the help that Luka needed, but I don't think it was the right help that he needed. But I do agree with Jared, because I do think that they can operate just like they did in Cleveland, where Luka is just the less athletic version of LeBron, and both of them flourished on that team. They do have a little defensive issue. So kudos to Dallas for
better
making
shooting. Let's give him that at least. I mean, he is at this point in his career, comparatively, like he's a better shooter than LeBron was at that time. Yeah.
So for Lakers, I'm gonna hold my breath just to see what type of move they make. I do think that it's gonna be some outlandish multi-role player guys for role player guys, where we're all as Laker fans gonna be like, this is what we needed. This is it. This is it.
It's funny how you can hype yourself up into like. I swear. Like, I mean, Daniel Dice is kind of bad. Like when you think about it, like.
I'm just saying, man. This is exactly.
I mean,
Norman
Powell, yeah, this was it, man.
I mean, he might be the next Kobe if you really think about it.
He was hitting up shot. He averaging 5 points right now, but it's all good. It's all good.
Hey, I know we spent 45 minutes on the bench, but like those 5 minutes, guys, are you kidding me? Those 5 minutes, like,
I mean,
that's what we needed, guys.
We just got Joe Harris. You know, he's like Kevin Love, but he doesn't rebound. You know,
right? It's the same thing. It's the same thing, guys.
So we'll see what happens. You know, obviously there are still the random rumors going around that Lakers are looking to maybe make a move with Raptors, maybe with the Bulls, like we've discussed before. Clippers obviously on the move as well. Also, I want to know why people don't give the Clippers as much shit as they give the Lakers when they built a team
Lakers,
that has
man.
done nothing.
Because you're the Lakers. You have LeBron James.
No, that's not the point.
Winning
we got a ring, okay? We got a bubble ring, but it's still a ring.
But now you call it a bubble ring.
Now you want to call it a bubble ring.
It's still a ring.
Now
It put a banner in the rafters.
Nope,
it's
too
a ring.
late. It's a
Still
ring.
more banners in the Clippers.
Bounce bubble ring.
No, it's funny. They give the Lakers so much crap about the bubble ring, but like the Chiefs championship is technically a bubble championship if you want to categorize it, but no one cares. Because it was football, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, it's football. It's like,
I don't know. It just seems like what are we? How? Like it's the same thing. Like I like really won.
Football's a little more in the trenches. I mean,
it's not gonna win the game though. You know what I mean?
I think the physicality is a lot different. So
sure.
I mean,
but that's neither here nor there today.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed that we do something good. Westbrook, you're a terrible closing player, but you've proved yourself as a good role guy off the bench. If we end up trading you, thanks for what you've done thus far. Sayonara.
I think it's crazy to think that their initial trade idea for the Nets was to send Russell Westbrook there, because I was like, you really think KD would want?
No, we're sending Russell there for KD.
Okay. Anyway,
and 2 picks. No, I guarantee you we're not trading with the Nets, considering how much Josiah was a little a-hole about this first trade. So I don't think that's going to be in the books. You and I, as well as Jalen, probably keep our fingers, or Jared too, keep our fingers crossed. Maybe the Bulls are going to do something. And we both win on both sides and end up taking the league by storm on each conference.
I'm just saying.
Doesn't hurt.
They're just like, send DeRozan over there.
Right? I mean, you guys need a ball handling point guard that high energy.
Yeah, I've joked about it a lot, but honestly, I wouldn't mind Russ over DeRozan for the team, because I do think fit-wise, it's a better fit.
Yeah.
Because we do need a guy who can actually, facilitate and move around with the ball. So,
interesting question. If they proposed that they send the Westbrook for DeRozan, but they include 1 first-round pick towards you guys, but you will also include Thomas Bryant, and you send over Vooch.
Okay, too much. No, just joking. I mean,
because we get expiring contracts.
It'll really depend.
He's just trying to get rid of DeRozan. That's literally what Cody's trying to do.
That's what I'm saying. Like, would you be willing to do that in trade?
It'll really depend on what they do for the rest of the team, because I don't think Thomas Bryant is personally, I wouldn't mind if it was like Christian Wood. Then I could see like the upsides there. I wouldn't mind kind of working around him. Thomas Bryant's a little less appealing to me than Christian Wood is. Even though I like Thomas Bryant, I do think he's a good player. I do think he has some potential. But, I mean, all said and done, honestly, if we were just trying to – but the only thing is, that's the reason why I said I don't think the Bulls are going to try to bottom out this year is because of the fact that our pick is only top 4 protected. So if it falls out of the top 4, it falls to the Magic. So, like, there really isn't, like, a real reason to, like, bottom out necessarily. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because as far as we could bottom out now, we wouldn't bottom out far enough to get within the top 4. But we would be kind of where the Magic would still get the pick. So it's like, really, there's no benefit for us, like, going all in on the lower stretch. But
I mean, hey, next AA next week is going to be exciting because it's right after the deadline. So,
but like honestly, even if it was straight up, okay, maybe not straight up. Maybe,
money doesn't work.
I was like, maybe it's just one pick. I was like, but if it was like a Westbrook for DeRozan type of deal, I would be okay with that because I do think they both scratch an itch for the other team that they need.
I would agree.
As opposed, I was like, it's literally like I wouldn't mind Westbrook on our team because I know that.
He's a high energy.
Right now, we don't have that guy, and our team works best in the kind of transition game more than it does in like the half court sets. But anyway, sorry, that's not where we're going. Spinning it over to you, Jalen Holston. I mean, I think we had this conversation off the pod. Me and Nolan did kind of talking about it on the side, but as you have stated. It's like, what are we on? Like some kind of, I mean, what is this depressive slide that
LeBron James depression arc? Is this incoming? Is this? I mean,
do you think that there's some validity to the fact that he's feeling so down about not getting the player that he wanted? Or I mean, there's a lot of people who are now talking about this in a larger context where people are saying, okay. Obviously, there's a lot of people in the community talking about the Jordan versus LeBron debate, right?
Right.
This goes into it because there's a lot of people who are saying, like, this is the reason why Jordan is blah, 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 because, this whole LeBron cry baby thing after whatever. So I'm just throwing it over to you. What are your thoughts on how LeBron is reacting to the Kyrie trade? Do you think he's overreacting? Do you think he's... justifiable? Where are you at with this?
I mean, I don't even know that it's really about Kyrie. I think my man's is just hurting because he's played terrible. I mean, like, when's the last time that we had a whole discussion about a missed call for LeBron, like any basketball?
There was 4 this season.
In a regular, these are regular season games.
No, look, Jalen, look. The difference in those 4 games.
They don't matter, Nolan. I'm sorry. They don't matter.
Listen, they do. Those 4 games are the difference between us being in 12th place and being in 7th. That is the difference. That's how close the West is. It makes a difference.
This sounds like a skill issue. Yeah. I don't know what to say. It sounds like a skill issue. Maybe you should have won more games to where you're not in this position. Huh? Maybe we think of that before we're like, oh, now the refs are keeping us from fucking playoffs.
I don't think the refs.
Oh my God!
I just think the refs need to do a better job. I don't think they're keeping us from winning. I'm just saying, hey, those are the big missed calls. You are one who always gets upset with the refs during your regular season Chiefs. So you should chill the fuck out. Sit down.
But I have never seen the war. I have never seen the world just go in utter disarray over a blatantly missed foul call, which it's not even a question.
You admit it.
It is blatantly missed. That is without a question. That is a foul in any YMCA, rec league.
That's right here, dog. I got you.
Okay, I get it. I understand. But at the same fucking time, you're LeBron James. How many calls have you gotten in your favor that were not even close to the fucking correct call? All right? So anyways, as I was saying,
go ahead.
I don't think this is really about Kyrie. I think it is really just a turn of all the events that have happened this season. He knows the end is nigh. All things considered for LeBron James, and we're just
averaging
seeing
35 and 7.
The end is nigh.
The end is nigh.
You going to the playoffs, Nolan?
Oh, we will.
Is that 35-7 get you to playoffs right now?
We gonna get there.
Is he doing like the 2006 run against Detroit for you right now?
Oh,
I don't think so.
Get there.
I don't think so. You ain't getting
I'm
that
putting
LeBron
money
James
on it.
anymore.
I'm just kidding.
No, you ain't getting that LeBron James anymore.
I'll put a shock on it that we make playoffs.
You're not getting the inspired LeBron after Kobe either.
No, I'll put in a bet right now with you. Lakers make
playoffs.
Make the playoffs. Make the playoffs.
Bet. Done.
Bet.
Over.
Done.
Shotties everywhere.
Boom.
Shotties everywhere. Anyway. But yeah, I just think we're seeing a lot of real life LeBron come out right now. And it's hard because I think as humans, when we have these big celebrities, right, it's hard for us to remember that, like, they're human, right? And they have human experiences. So when we see them, like, kind of do these things where he's tweeting out, like, maybe it's me, or like, you know, hey, I wish I could have a normal life, like that, those kinds of things, we forget that part. And so, like, our initial reaction is like, bro, you live in LA. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, you have millions of dollars. How could you be upset? And then
billions of dollars,
actually. Like, how are you this upset about your life right now? You got a great family and like, all this stuff, but
at least agree. LeBron is a crybaby. You know, that's
he's
no
a big
debate.
old crybaby.
He's a big crybaby.
He is,
but
a little bit.
I'm just saying, you know, I'm not necessarily a LeBron fan. I'm a Laker fan. He's on the Lakers, so therefore, when it affects my team, I do get a little upset about it. I'm not like Jared, follows LeBron everywhere. You know what I mean? I'm here for the Lakers, and if it affects how the Lakers win. True. That is my issue.
I'd agree because I hate KD, but if KD got traded to the Bulls, I might be like, hey,
I love you, KD.
Let's go for that. You my boy now. You might be top 3 all time.
Hey, wait. Let me ask. If KD were to come to the Bulls this season.
If he wins.
Are you putting top?
Yes, 100%.
Right, there you go. But that's,
I did say he was right outside.
He's got to win on his own.
So.
He's got to win on his own. I feel
like
that.
if he did that, if he came to us and took the championship, better yet, if he does it with the Brooklyn Nets this year, I will 100% push him up there.
I will recant all statements made prior to about Kevin, Miles, James, Dickerson. I will recant every statement I ever made.
I was wrong, my lord.
I will shout from the rooftops that I was wrong. But
James Dickerson Durant.
He said Kevin Miles James
Dickerson. Right.
New name for you, Katie. There you go.
Oh, wow.
Man. But yeah, I think we're just seeing a little bit of real life LeBron. That's all. And I think it's warranted, man. It's a rough.
He's a cornball when he freaking tweets, no matter what. Whether it's both, I'm just having fun. Kid from Akron. Shut up,
like,
LeBron.
I had a conversation with that dude
male
a long time ago,
and
I told him, like, I knew you were going to drop 30 in that game. I knew exactly when it was going to happen, bro. Like, I got it. Like I
said, Kobe's going for 81. Kobe's going exactly for 81.
I think that's my favorite part about LeBron James this year is that meme going around. Like anything that happens. Yeah, I had a conversation with him, and I told him. Like, I told him there,
you know what?
You know,
I was in 5th grade, and I told MJ, you know what?
I think my other favorite one is
the best
like,
record in the league.
You know, like the one where like LeBron always pretends like he knows, even though he doesn't know. Like that's my favorite thing. Yeah.
Have you seen the one with the books?
Yes.
Every time they take a picture of him with a book, he's always like on the first 2 pages of the book. There's like 4 different pictures. He's like on the bicycle, like looking at it, and the book is the first 2 pages. Go win us a ring, LeBron, please.
Yeah, I mean, like, honestly, though, I mean, from the human perspective, I mean, there's always going to be, you know, they always say money doesn't buy happiness, and there is that aspect of it. I do think that there's stuff internally, like, obviously, they always say that when you're, like, super rich and you can't do normal things and you're super famous and you're not able to go out and be, like, normal or whatever and walk around. But, like, there are a lot of people who would trade normalcy for the comfortableness that you are able to afford yourself. But, I mean, at the end of the day, I do think that it's a little weird that it came out just like hours after the Kyrie trade.
I think it's the timing too, right?
Yeah, it was. That was like
what he was doing.
Yeah,
like Kyrie, he's been vocal about Kyrie. Of course, would help us. And then, of course, right after the trade, is it me? Yes, it's you, bitch.
Yeah, it probably is because like the whole fallout from Cleveland was you and him not working well. Like that's at least what I recall. Like I called that from the jump. Like there's no way Kyrie goes back.
He called it from. I told him.
I told Kyrie. I called Kyrie last night. I said, "Hey man, there's no way you're going back to work with LeBron, bro. You got to go help out Luka." But yeah, no, like, there's no way. There's no way that trade was ever going to happen. I don't know who seriously thought it was going to. Is my question. It's like
the media.
Possibility.
I like the media really pushed that.
When I heard that the owner said that, I was like, that was the reason why it didn't go through, because the owner obviously doesn't want the Lakers to get that piece, and that's fair. That's absolutely fair for any GM or owner to not want to trade a player to a specific team that's going to get overpowered. So.
I think that's
business.
You have the right to negotiate. Until they heard Keone's take on this, because Keone's been bitching about this ever since we started this podcast about how LeBron always gets whatever he wants.
So I think, really, though, it's like
maybe he finally listened to the podcast and heard you.
This right here is like the reason why I think it's even more driven into my skull a little bit more, because it's his reactions of like not getting these things that like really gives me that extra, like, if I didn't already have, because as a Bulls fan, obviously I will always ride with Michael Jordan, but regardless of that, I think from the logistical standpoint, from my brain, I always think like Michael Jordan is the GOAT. If that wasn't already ingrained in me, I think this would have sent that whole argument over the top for me, because I just, man, this kind of stuff, I just don't ride with it. Like this whole generation of like requesting trades and like wanting to move teams because they don't like the weather where they live at, even though they got paid $50 million to be on a team or whatever it might be. And then you got guys like this who like complain about not getting the pieces that they need around them. Like, bruh, like how many guys back in the day went in, did their damn jobs, played with the guys that they had, won championships, didn't complain. Like it's
never.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it was the opposite for MJ too, because the GM back then was a fucking dick. You know what I mean? Like he literally tried to destroy the team, and if it wasn't for Phil Jackson,
like his Hall of Fame suit,
they probably don't win 6 championships.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
I mean? Exactly. Like that's what he was going the opposite of what LeBron is going through right now.
Agreed. I think that for me will always be like the biggest distinction is like that. The mental capacity of like players from back in the day, like second to none. Like no matter how athletic guys will get in the future, and they will progressively get even more athletic in the future. I mean, kids are freaks nowadays. You know what I'm saying? Like you got kids who are like 18 years old that are like deadlifting 500 pounds, squatting 500 pounds. Like, you know what I mean? Like they run like 4.40s. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are monsters out there nowadays because of the advancements in technology and all these health things. But like at the end of the day, you don't have this, it really doesn't matter. Like to me, there's just that this is your biggest tool right here. And if you don't have it, I mean, you'll never be up there. I mean, sorry. that was a mini rant on top of the rant that we already had today. Yeah, but I'm just going to kind of close it off here. But that was a fantastic,
great episode, I think.
Yeah, that was great. Thank you, Nolan. Thank you, Jalen.
We had a hot debate in there, real quick. You know what I mean? Good for the reels.
We came back together to laugh play some games. It was great. Yeah.
It was great.
I was like, pretty sure me and Jared could have ran a duels in that moment, but I'm just going to end it here. Thank you for joining. I was like, hey, I'm always ready, dog. It's right here.
Hey, I'm always ready. Oh, sorry.
Wow.
Okay, how about that duels game now?
I'd expect that from a Laker fan. No, I'm just joking. Anyway. Anyway, thank you for joining us here on this episode of Athletes Anonymous. Again, because we're all here on the pod, and this is the first episode that will be released after the announcement, congratulations to Vivian Butt for winning the $100 Amazon gift card giveaway.
Woo! Great job, Vivian!
We need sound effects for this whole thing. But
anyway, give her a follow. She's an LA-based model as well as just graphic arts. Do it.
But give us a follow. Like if you follow her already, just follow us.
Just do another follow around
tell your daddy, tell your auntie, tell your uncle.
Round
yeah, exactly. If you're here because of Vivian, Follow us. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us in this episode of Athletes Anonymous. Boys, where can the people find you? Nolan, where are your socials?
My socials are Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch at NolanKYT, NOLANKYT.
Raja, throwing it over to you, Jay. Where can the people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Jalen Holston. It's where I'm at the most. Sometimes I stream on Twitch at Mokathanos_LGG and whatnot. And then there's a lovely Instagram that I'm trying to get back into actually posting on at Art by Jalen. So if you want to follow any of those, that's great. Mainly, though, if you follow Twitter, that's where I'll be. You know what I mean?
Honestly, I've been waiting for another one of them Art by Jalen drops. I enjoy it.
So getting back into it, I gotta shake the rust off before anything gets posted. You know what I mean?
I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it. Jared Shirai, where can the people find you?
I'm on Instagram and Twitch at JShirai, JSHIRAI, and on Twitter at JShirai808.
And you're affiliate now. Come on, man.
Well, I am an affiliate.
Drop that. You are
drop that Twitch Prime.
Drop them Twitch Prime.
You know
I did just read up my Prime specifically so I could support my boy. So
nice.
I'll probably do that. I'll do that in a little bit. Anyway, I am KONE. You can find me at Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch at KONE. That's KAYOHKNEE. As always, it has been a pleasure. It's been a joy from all of us here at Poi N Soy.
Good vibes and love, everybody.
Bang it a bang.
Shoots.
Maybe it is just you. You never know.
Is it me you're looking for?
How come music doesn't play?
The answer is no, LeBron. It's not you I'm looking for.